It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Yahki Awaken.
All praises.
What's up, King?
Peace, God. How you feeling, man?
Oh, man, one more hop, I'll be on top.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me here, man.
Absolutely.
Good old Houston, huh?
Absolutely, man. You're a brother from St. Louis. You know, I used to go to St. Louis a lot back in the day when we was doing a lot of performing.
Uh-huh.
And St. Louis always showed love, man.
Yeah.
Showed love. And you were born and raised in St. Louis. And so the question that I have is, how does a brother born and raised in St. Louis have a name like Yahki Rapha Elohim?
So,
like, how do you get that name? Did you give yourself that name, or were you born with that name?
I wasn't born with that name, and I didn't give myself that name either. I was given that name probably like 15 years ago when I had stepped into a new conscious way of thinking about religion, who God is. I speak fluent Hebrew, read fluent Hebrew, and write fluent Hebrew. Mm-hmm. And Yahki Rapha Elohim is a Hebrew name. Yahki just means God lives. Rapha means healer, and Elohim means the power. So when you read in the Torah, or what they call the Bible, it says in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. It's really saying in the beginning Elohim created the heavens and the earth.
Man, that's live, man. Cause my name, I'm just Willie, man.
Your name's supposed to mean something.
I think mine just mean Willie.
See, but that's the English concept of names. Like when you look into other ancient traditions and cultures of people, names have purpose, and you're supposed to live up to that name. Right. Like, notice name, it's about the characteristics and the attributes that's associated with the name. That's how you can shame the name of your father. Mm. You're not shaming his last name like Jackson or Johnson. You shaming everything he worked hard to build for his community and for the world. So names is everything, because titles is everything. Words have power and vibrations behind them. So typically when you see in the ancient days, they either named the baby before the baby was born to mold and shape its reality, or they waited and watched the characteristics of the baby and watched the baby develop, then gave the baby a name associated off of that. So names is powerful, man. And that's why when you greet somebody, the first thing you say is, how you doing? My name is. And based off of, well, at least in the ancient warrior days, based off them telling you their name, you already knew what they was about. So when I say Yahki Rapha, Dr. Yahki Rapha Elohim, you already know, okay, this is a man of God. He's a healer, and he's powerful.
Yeah, that's powerful. You being from St. Louis, what part of St. Louis are you from? East?
No, not east. So I was actually born in Illinois, though. But Illinois is 15 minutes away from St. Louis. Right. So we still consider where I'm from St. Louis. They just call it the city. So gotcha. East St. Louis, which is in Illinois, Alton, Cahokia, I'm from that area. Right. Then at the age of 7, I moved to actually St. Louis, Missouri. So we always call St. Louis the city. So from 7 till now, I've been in St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? Raised in St. Louis.
I'm glad you mentioned that thing about names having meaning, because a lot of people, when they saw the U.S. go into Iraq and topple the Saddam Hussein statue, they didn't understand why, the meaning behind that. Mm-hmm. And they get offended when we talk about having names on money and removing Confederate names off of buildings and things like that. They say, well, it's just history. You know, we're honoring our history. Mm-hmm. But these people understand those names do mean something, and they have those names on these streets and stuff to serve as a reminder of who these people are and what they did. Yeah. And that's why they went over to Iraq to topple his statue, take his name, destroy all of the books with his names in it, remove the name plaques and names off of all buildings that bared his name, because they knew that his name meant something.
Yeah, I mean, names
it meant something to the people of Iraq.
Yeah,
and
names
so
is
they
associated
went in there
with
to
everything.
intentionally destroy whatever power that name possessed.
Facts. But we speaking about a people that is known for erasing history, erasing names, and then writing themselves into histories, and then taking over the names of ancient African culture and people. Like for instance, they have something called Greek gods, and you start looking up these Greek gods, and they're literally Hellenized African gods. So they're known for, erasing history, putting themselves inside of history and changing the names of things. Names are associated with clans of people people, which means it's associated with an ancestral line and a bloodline. So if you can make somebody forget their name, potentially the first thing they do is forget their name, you change their name, then they can't trace back their history and who they are as a people. Well, history and who you are as a people is a part of a culture, and a culture is a part of your identity. It's a part of your language. It's a part of the land and the soil that you was birthed from. So if you forget your name and you don't know where you come from, then you don't know who you are. And if you don't know where you come from and who you are, then how do you know where you're going? So a people like us, so-called black people, or who I call melanin people, since we have lost our heritage, since we have lost our history, our land, and our name, that should be our only sole purpose here in this existence, is to find that name, to trace it back where it come from. Then we can reestablish our history and our culture. Because again, if you don't know where you come from, then how do you know where you're going? Your culture and your name is what gives you purpose. If you don't have an identity, then your only sole purpose is to find out who you are. Then after that, you will develop the purpose based on your identity. So name is everything. Where you come from is everything.
How successful were you in tracing your name? How many generations could you get all the way to?
Yeah, so
did you get all the way to your roots?
Man, yeah. So everybody so-called African Americans grow up with this traditional African belief, like we are from Africa, when that is one of the biggest conceptions and lies in history. I'm actually native to this land. I'm an Aboriginal of America. I traced my lineage all the way back to Louisiana, Mississippian culture. So I'm a Mississippian Indian. My whole family was, and we always lived for generations and generations. I'm talking about down to about 8 to 10 generations of people. We started in Louisiana and we migrated along the Mississippi River. I'm from a tribe called the Chaptee, or the Chaptee tribe, Chickasaw tribe, or what you would call Chickasaw Nation. These are ancient melanated Indians, not Africans, not even associated with African people. But we are melanated people here in the Americas. Before Christopher Columbus came and found us and gave us smallpox, I'm not from Africa. I'm actually a Aboriginal from the Americas. So my family, when I traced back, which I had to spend a bunch of thousands of dollars to really trace it down. They had to check the archives and check the records and everything. But we went all the way back to Louisiana. Then from Louisiana, we migrated on the Mississippi River to Mississippi. Then we went to Arkansas. And then from Arkansas, you will see my family, they are branched off to Tennessee. And then the other part of my family went to Illinois. So my whole genealogy of people have lived amongst the Mississippi River, or what we're going to call the now Valley River, since the beginning of our bloodline. So we the Mississippian culture, Chaptee tribe, Zone 5.
Right. You're a master holistic herbalist. Is that right? Is that correct?
Master herbalist. Yes.
Yeah, master herbalist, biochemist. How often do you have people trying to challenge your credentials? Because you talk, you're under attack a lot. I watched a lot of people come at you, but you stand 10 toes down every time, and nobody has been able to penetrate or put a chink in the armor yet.
Yeah.
You're really, really sharp. Like, how often do people come at you when they challenging your experiments and your research?
So people don't challenge the credentials. The credentials is what it is. I mean, I don't really even care about the credentials. That's what it is. Even though I went to school and I got my PhD in natural science and health, I have my BA in biochemistry. We in school now for biochemical molecular biology, to be a molecular biologist. It ain't really that, my experiences speak for itself. I got my own clinics. We have our own healing homes. I got my own farm. I grow and eat my own food. I have my own water sources. We got a bunch of close relationships to laboratories in Illinois and Missouri. So I know my way around the laboratory. We're working with some of the most expensive thermal and quartz microscopes known to the world, to be honest with you. So it's like, I don't mind people coming at me because I know the work. I realize that I am a new thought leader and I'm very thought provoking, and I step outside the box and look at healing, look at biochemistry, anatomy, and physiology from a different lens than a lot of people. I done went to school and I done did it on my own, so I know the lies, and I'm here to challenge the textbooks. So people think that I'm challenging them, or I'm challenging people that have come before me like my elders, and I'm not. I'm challenging the information to expand the information so we can grow as a conscious people. And And I just think it offend a lot of people. Nobody have ever proven me wrong, though. And you can't prove me wrong if I've done the experiments and I experience what I'm talking about. I don't speak from a stance of reading a book and then I'm regurgitating what I've read. I will read the literature, then I will go do my experiments either on myself, family members, or the collective members that I have in my health club membership program. And we experiment with these herbs and with the diets, with the intermittent fasting. And then we check the blood, do live blood analysis, and then we track your healing. You can't knock that. You know, everybody got something to say about me, but there is nobody out here doing the same work. So, you know, me, when I know somebody lying about me, it probably angered me a little bit, but I mean, it's like, okay, I know they lying. Now, if they was telling the truth and I was hiding something, that's when I would lash out. So you don't see me responding because it's lies and these people don't know what they talking about. And just that's what melanated people do, though. They take information. If the information starts a trend, they run with it. And that's what you see. You see somebody posting a snippet of me talking about water, or somebody posting a snippet of me talking about how, you know, so-called black people are not made to eat meat. And they never watch the whole entire presentation. They just hear it and it hurts them to hear it because I'm trying to take something away from them, even though it's in a positive way. They will take it and they will find textbook research or Google, and then they will use that to defend them. But we all know that the textbooks are outdated. We all know that the textbooks was written by John D. Rockefeller and the Carnegie Foundation, which believe in eugenics and basically annihilating 2/3 of the earth. We know that the teachers that teach us the history, that teach us mathematics, the education, pharmaceuticals, and all these other things are made to monetize off of us. So if us being oppressed as a people benefit another people, and these same people are giving us our literature and education, then that means that literature and education is made to keep us suppressed. Because the moment that we liberate ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally, it doesn't benefit them anymore. So it's not even arguing back and forth with the people. This is a psychology mindset type of war. This is a spiritual warfare. And some things just don't, you know, Dr. John Henry Clark is may the Most High rest that ancestor soul, one of the great thinkers of this time. And what he said is,
I only debate my equals.
Say that again.
Everybody else I teach.
He said, I only debate my equals. Everybody else I teach. So you would never catch me in a debate match with nobody unless they have the same credentials and have done the same studies and been in the same experiments as me. I come from a very, very different way of thinking. All these other holistic healers, they believe in disease. I don't believe in disease. I don't believe disease exists. I believe that the body have the natural capability of healing itself when the energy is not capable of flowing easy throughout the whole entire body. I believe that these diseases are nothing but symptomologies of detoxification symptoms. These people believe in disease, so there is no argument there because we believe in something totally different. I don't think that we're made to drink actually H2O water. I'm not saying that you can't drink it, but I believe that we were made to drink water that come from our fruits, which is called H3O2. They can't even tell you the molecular weight or the chemistry behind H3O2. They can't even find it. So why would I argue with you? You can't even do the proper math, or you don't even have the type of experiments and studies to show the different change. You know, is it a dipole? Is it a tripole? Is it a monopole? Like, how is this water even being exchanged through the body? So you tend to find yourself being angry and mad and wanting to go back and forth with people that's just not intelligently or consciously even on your level. And I just learned to bypass that. Put out the information. For those that's meant to hear the information, they will. And if they apply the information, they will see that I'm right. For those that just want to hear and soundbite and argue, let them do them. You know, it's a balance. It's my art when it comes to anything in creation. Without light, there will be no darkness. Up, then it creates down. Beautiful creates ugly, hot, cold, skinny, fat. This is part of the game. And if I'm out here teaching millions new information that challenge the very foundation of their mindset and what built their personality, if I don't expect to have no backlash or to be critiqued or criticized, I'm stupid. So I expect what happens. I expect everybody to come at me because I'm ahead of my time. I'm coming with some things that people never ever heard. It sounds crazy and taboo. I expect people to get mad how they get mad. But to make no mistake about it, I get way more love than I get hate. I get way more love than I get hate. The reason why I'm on this platform right now, why we on Sway in the Morning and all these other big platforms that we own, is because those who see, and those who don't. And I pray and hope that one day they get it.
Yeah, I ask that because it's very hard to change a determined mind right? If somebody just determined to not want to learn, not want to grow, not want to like you, not want to appreciate you, then it's not a lot that you can do about that.
Part of the war, man.
Yeah, and also you spoke about trusting the information of your enemy. That's crazy to me how we accept these stats that they present to us,
and then use them against each other.
Exactly, and use them like they're actually the gospel. We use them, and it's like a lot of us just don't understand that the money is in the medicine, and that's what they want us on. So somebody like you is a major threat to the status quo. I mean, we're talking about trillions of dollars.
Yeah, a multi-trillion-dollar annually income.
Yeah, the money is in the medicine, man. I was riding down the street a few weeks ago, and I just noticed it was almost like a hospital on every other block or something. Like either a hospital
or a church,
or one of those emergency 24-hour emergency places. They're everywhere. They're popping up like fires in 1992 LA riots.
Yeah. And I'm not against the hospitals or the emergency rooms, because I believe the allopathic community do have a purpose here. I just don't think it's in holistic medicine and healing. I think, like if I get shot right now and I'm not finna go take a herb, call 911, take me to the hospital, because I'm not a surgeon. My degrees are not in surgery. I don't know anything about surgery.
And you're experiencing trauma at that.
You see what I'm saying? So come get this bullet up out of me, because, if it get infected, I can die. So I'm not an extremist. I know that they have a position and purpose here, and that's for things like that. But when it comes to so-called reversing these so-called diseases, they know nothing about that. In fact, when you actually go to school and you get your doctrines and your MDs, they don't teach you that. They teach you how to sell pharmaceutical drugs. The allopathic community outside the surgeon rooms are drug dealers. And this is the honest to God, flat out truth. It's ran by a medical cartel, which link back to these higher names that I've been talking about for many, many years. And that's cool if they want to do that. They just not finna be selling that to my people and I be quiet about it. You see what I'm saying? It's all about a different perspective. We are dealing with another people's psychology. We are operating in another people's history and education. And everybody act like science is just solidified or is facts. Just because it's science, it don't make it facts. Science is part of a culture. If you go to Africa right now and you check their science, it's very, very different from the Western allopathic science. If you go to India right now, they have something called medicineless hospitals, where you don't get medicine at their hospital. So they have the same hospital with the same concept, except one in America pushes drug, the other one they pushes breathing therapy. You go to the Indian hospital, they're gonna tell you to meditate to bring your blood pressure down, to get rid of your hypertension. You stay here, they're gonna give you some type of drug to try to control your blood pressure. You go to Africa, they're gonna change your diet. But we still talking about blood pressure, and it's still a institute or a sanctuary that you go to receive your so-called healing. So the science is not the issue. It is the culture. We are operating in another people's culture. We eating other people's food. You see that? We're taking other people's medicine. We're following other people's gods, or what you would call religion, and we wondering why we out of our minds. We're out of our original Aboriginal African minds, and we're in the minds of Europeans and other people, and that's why we don't have no peace. We don't have no identity. We don't have no language. We don't have no land. We don't know who we are. We identify with the color of a crown and shirt. We call ourselves black. Then you'll say you're African American, which is 2 continents. Who are you? If you ask an Italian, he's gonna say, I'm Italian, I speak Italian, I'm from Italy. You ask a Japanese, I'm Japanese. I'm from Japan, I speak Japanese. A Chinese, I'm from China, I speak Chinese. I'm Chinese. Soon as you ask a so-called black person who they are, they're gonna say, I'm African American and I speak English. We don't know who we are. So since we don't know who we are, and you strip the nationality and the identification of a people, you can tell them who they are. And that's what's been told to us. So I'm just here pulling the curtains off, saying they lying. They'll send you to the doctor right now. You go to the doctor, they will treat you like a 40-year-old Caucasian man. What about a 14-year-old so-called African-American woman? She goes to the doctor right now, and they will treat her like a 40-year-old Caucasian man. That is their stat.
Unless she's in pain.
That's their statistics.
Then they're going to tell her to hold on.
You see what I'm saying?
Let's see what happens.
So
she can handle it.
We just have to understand that we're biologically different. That's why we look different. You know, people push the narrative that we're all the same. It's one race, and that's the human race. And that's just not true. Biologically, it is not sound, and it doesn't make sense. For one, our skins are darker, meaning we have a dark pigmentation more than other people. And that's selenium and melanin and built up carbon in our skin. Our teeth are smaller than theirs. You know, I mean, it's by micrometers, but if you measure them, it is. On an average, our teeth are smaller. Theirs are sharper than ours. When you even look at our brain size is different than theirs. Our bone mineral density, talking about our melanin content in our minerals, we hold more minerals than them. Our bones are heavier than them. Like when you actually look at us, our skulls, you can actually, this is the reason why somebody can die and decompose. They can go dig up the body, and based off of their femur bone and based off of their DNA, they can tell whether they're so-called white, so-called black, Asian, Chinese, and all these other different types of what they'll call race of species, because we are molecularly and biologically different than any other race. So if I'm different, if my molecular biological structure is different, if my melanin content is different, if my minerals is different, even my electrolytes and how it roam around through my blood is different, if I react to the environment different, if I can take the sun more than other people, you take the sun, you get cancerous causing agents, I take the sun, my melanin eats the sun, and I get energy from it. That means that the geographical location is different. If the geographical location is different, that means that the food is different. If the food is different, that means that the medicine is different. And if the medicine is different, that means that the water is different too. So that's all I'm bringing to the people. I'm just trying to wake the people up and show them just because we different don't make us better. That's another topic. But I'm just saying we different. And since we different and we are a different species, even our organs is different. Everything about us is different than everybody else. And if you look into the animal kingdom, you have something called the fowl kingdom. In the fowl kingdom, you have birds that eat nothing but meat. Hawks, vultures, eagles, they eat meat. But then you have parakeet that eat fruits. Then you have another bird called the hummingbird that eat nothing but sweet honey nectar. It likes the sap of trees. It's still the same classification as a bird, but depending on the geographical location and the size and the content, the biological content of that bird, guess what? It eats different foods. Same thing with the feline kingdom, same thing with all these different kingdoms. So just because it's a bird don't mean that it eat the same food. Just because we all consider ourselves humans don't mean that we eat the same things. We are sick because we're operating in the other people's culture and we're using other people's traditions, and then we're blaming it on genes and everything else. No, that's not the genes. Just your mother and your grandmother had hypertension and you got hypertension because y'all all eating the same food, the same soul food that is killing and taking your soul. So I think that we need to establish who we are as a people. Then once we establish who we are as a people and we find our true culture and identity, when you tap back into that culture and identity, you would see that the literature is lying. All of us didn't eat meat. Every first thing they want to say is, well, we go back to hunters and gatherers. Says who? Says the books that you was reading that was written by your oppressor. Like show me that without your oppressor telling you that. And then show me what meat eating have done for us. Now, I see a bunch of Europeans on the carnivore diet and they're thriving off of it. I see it. They're losing weight. They're kicking their body into ketosis. They're gaining muscles. The actual neurological functionings and cells are firing off. They think quicker. They're getting rid of the brain fog. But you take that same specific diet and give it to a so-called African-American, or who I'm going to call an Aboriginal melanated being, they get sick. Their body sets up in putrefaction. They get worms off of it. Diabetes mellitus and hyperglycemia sets up. Their blood pressure and hypertension go up off the same food, showing you that we're biologically different. All I'm trying to do is wake my people up and say, hey, we've been lied to. We've been bamboozled. We've been eating another people's food. We've been worshiping another people's God. We've been drinking another people's liquids. It's time to wake up and find our own. And if we can't find our own, we need to go into nature, see what we closely assimilate with, and we need to rebuild the culture. And that's it.
Did you see the video that was circulating of the prime steak?
Yeah.
It was raw and it was bleeding.
Yeah.
And they were talking about it cost like $70,000 and this is the way you're supposed to eat a steak.
You are supposed to. If you don't eat a steak bleeding, then why are you eating the steak? because the blood is where all the phytonutrients set. When you look at a body, the body is made of 150 trillion cells when it comes to so-called black people. When it comes to Caucasians, their body is made from 50 to 70 trillion cells. When you look at Asians and Mongoloids or Mongolians, their body is made from 70 to 100 trillion cells. So even when you're talking about the content of the cells that make up the full human body, even the range of cells is different. We have more cells than anybody else. We actually go through cellular mitosis more than anybody else. Our cells can divide before they die and rebirth themselves more than anybody else. That's why we have such adaptation cells than anybody else. So we can adapt and live in any climate and adapt to it because of the way our cells are and the melanin content and the carbon that we have built up. So even when you look at that, if you look at meat eating, the body is made of 150 trillion cells. You have three functionings in the body. The blood. The blood is what feeds the cells nutrients. It feeds the cells oxygen. And it goes through exchange, where exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide, and then you exhale that carbon dioxide, and then the plants breathe in that carbon dioxide, and then they exhale oxygen and give you oxygen. So you have the blood, which feeds the cells all the phytonutrients and sugars that it need. Then you have something called the nervous system that commands the cells and tells the cells what to do. Then last but not least, you have something called the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is the sewage system of the body. So if all of the phytonutrients is in the blood and only a little nutrients is in the tissues, because once it goes into tissues, it goes into the cells, then the cells burn it up and utilize it. Then it produces some type of lactic acid or carbonic acid, sulfuric acid, some type of acid or byproduct come from it. So that means potentially all the nutrients is in the blood. Why would I get a steak? This is how you know that we're not meat eaters. Why would I get a steak, drain it of all the blood where all the nutrients at, then cook the rest of the blood within the tissues of the meat, then eat it? And we know that so-called black people love their meat well done. You're not getting none of the phytonutrients. What you're getting is utilized proteins, and you're getting utilized minerals, which the body really can't do nothing with. So
is eating a steak, a raw steak that's bleeding, that's the proper way to eat a steak?
That's the proper way to eat.
Is it good for the body?
That's a proper way to eat any meat if it's raw and it's bleeding, but it's not the proper way for a human to eat it. A proper way for a human to eat it is not to eat it at all. But if you look, not to eat it at all. No, I don't. I haven't ate meat in like 15 years.
You don't know what you're missing.
No, I know what I'm missing. I used to eat it all the time, man. I ate steak, bison, lamb. I come from a Hebraic community. My mama Muslim. My father was Hebrew Israelite. So I come from a very, very meat eating religion and meat eating culture. We had whole lambs for Passover, and we drained the blood and everything, and we ate the whole lamb. We had bison. I done ate some exotic meats that I can't say on here because it's actually illegal. So I done ate a bunch of stuff. What I realized is I had a heart attack at 21, man.
That's what I was about to ask you about. Did that have something to do with the meat consumption?
Yes, because meat, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and weed, all of that accumulated, and I attacked my heart. But this is what I'm saying. Once I stopped eating the meat, I was able to regenerate my cardiomyocytes. They say that you can't reproduce those cells. They say once the heart cells die, that's what it is. And they say the same thing for brain cells. But I regenerated my cells by not eating meat. That's what I'm saying. So other people can eat meat and they will thrive off of it. But when it comes to so-called African-American people, it don't do us any good. And the proteins is killing us. This protein myth is killing us. They say that you need protein for this many grams of muscles. And no, we need amino acid structures. And this go back to what I'm saying. Eating meat in its raw state is the best way to eat meat. But us as a so-called African people, we're not supposed to be eating meat because it does the body good.
What about fish and shrimp?
No, not fish, especially not shrimp. Shrimp is full of defecation. Shrimps is made to clean the ocean. If y'all keep eating all the shrimps and eating all the catfish out of the sea, then what's going to keep the ocean clean for the ocean can give us planktons and give us oxygen. A lot of people think most of the oxygen come from the trees, but majority of your oxygen that you breathe in actually come from the ocean.
No lobster.
No. Lobster is a sea. That's a sea monster.
Good God, man, I'm down for change.
This is what I'm saying. I just want you to look at. So you're not supposed to eat anything why would you eat a bottom feeder? Would you eat a cockroach? That's a shrimp.
Depends on how they cook it.
But you funny. A cockroach is the cousin of a shrimp. So a cockroach is a land shrimp. A shrimp is a sea cockroach. Same family, they got the same last names and everything. Same thing as a crab and a spider.
What's the last name?
I can't think of it right now, and I don't want to say nothing wrong on here because they love to tear me apart.
Yeah.
But if you look it up, they're in the same exact family. The spider and the crab is in the same exact family. What we have made basically the trash cans of the ocean and the trash cans of the earth are delicacy. But this is the same thing that happened in slavery, where they gave us a pig and gave us the most nasty, horrendous parts of the pig, and then we turned it into a delicacy, like chitterlings. What is amazing about eating the intestines of a pig? But we turned that into a delicacy. We put all of our seasonings on it. That's causing all types of tapeworms, hookworms, fluke worms, Fasciolopsis buski. Think about the things that we actually, and then you think that it's romantic to take, and for one, we're not Roman, so we can't even say we're romantic. There's nothing Roman about us. That's Greco-Greek language. I'm just trying to show my people we're in a different culture, and I'm trying to show it without them thinking I'm just being racist, because I'm not. I have white friends. I have white business people that I do business with. That is not the issue. The issue is monkeys play with monkeys. Gorillas play and socialize themselves with gorillas. Polar bears would never, Dr. Sebi said it, you would never catch a polar bear fraternizing and eating with a gorilla because they eat two totally different things. That's all I'm saying. You would never see a gorilla send its gorilla cubs to polar bear school. So we're letting other people teach us. We're letting other people give us spirituality. We're letting other people feed us. We're letting other people clothe us. And it's not our culture and tradition. And this is the reason why I'm having the problem with the very same people that I'm trying to heal and help. Because they're operating out of a European mindset and not out of an Aboriginal or African mindset.
Man, ain't that cold-blooded, man, when you're trying to help your people, man, and they're the main ones that's attacking
it hurts sometimes. I be having to talk to Nabi like, Nabi, he be like, don't give up, man. It'll work. And then Nabi, so shouts out to Nabi, that's my manager. What he do is he always point out the good. Man, you got millions of followers. You're doing good, man. You got thousands of healing testimonies. That mean thousands of people are listening. We flying around the country and we talking on the biggest shows in America. That means they hearing. So, I get that, but I'm the one receiving all the pressure. And it's like, dang, I don't get no sleep. I don't get to spend that much time with my family. All I'm doing is traveling, healing, and studying and bring y'all this information for y'all can change our mindsets to not only heal one's body, but heal one's mind and one's spirit. Because all these things have to be rehabilitated for you to be able to say that you're whole again. And it's like I'm putting my life and my neck on the line just for y'all to not even, y'all are calling me a liar. Y'all call me stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. And it's like, ain't none of y'all went and did, just put me to the test. Try what I'm saying. But nobody wants to try it. It sounds so taboo because it's not Europeanized that they can't even, it hurts their soul to even listen to it.
Kind of like that Christianity thing.
Yeah, just like that, which is another, you see that? Because we serving another people God. But back to the meat part. If you look at our physiology, right, we don't have claws. If I'm talking about, let's take away all the man-made stuff, all the technology. All right. Could you go out there and kill you a deer with your bare hands? No, you can't. Could you go out there and get a wild boar for your pork right now? No, it will kill your ass. So just based off of our functionality and our anatomy, we don't have claws to rip into our prey. We can't get up to 50 to 70 miles an hour. We are not horizontal and sit low to the ground and have tails to pivot us while we're running. We don't have that type of lean muscle mass. We don't have long canines. Our canines is for protection. Shouts out to my protector, my bodyguard, Sar. He talks about how teeth development and early development of your teeth was actually meant for protection too. Speaking about if somebody hits you, your first instinct as a child is to do what? Bite you. So we see that our teeth is for protection. Our teeth ain't to rip meat from the actual bone. When you look at a felines, their teeth and their canines is meant to rip flesh from the skeleton structure. You can't you can't bite through no fur and bite through the meat all the way down to the bone to get your prey and to eat that meat. And for one, black people is not eating their meat bloody. We like our meat well done. So you think about all these things, the way we live. And then if you look at a carnivore eats 99% flesh, 99% meat. Every now and then you will see a lion eating some grass when his stomach is set because it got to go to the herb. You will see a wild dog eating grass because it got to go back to the roots and the herb. They fast, their body go through a stage of autophagy, then they eat some type of vegetable to help purge their system. Other than that, they eat nothing but bloody flesh. And you don't see pots and pans in the wilderness. They don't cook their food. They're not sprinkling rosemary on their food. They're not topping it off with potatoes. They eat nothing but meat. Us. When it gets to us, we feel like that we're carnivores and we not. We don't have none of the natural capabilities to track down these prey and eat them. And then when you get into the digestive system, when you look at our digestive system can get up to 36 feet long. When you look at a feline's or a carnivore digestive system, their digestive system gets only 10 to 15 feet long. And the reason why is they go through an actual process called putrefaction. Putrefaction is when the meat rots inside of the stomach. They hydrochloric acid inside of their stomachs is about 10 times hotter than ours. It's called the 120 rule when you in biology class. It's what they call it, the 120 rule. If all you herbalists that's been to school like y'all say y'all have, y'all know what I'm talking about. So when you look at our stomach acid is way less than theirs. So we can't even break down these actual proteins. In fact, there's many articles, and I just did a lecture on it. We don't even break down these proteins. We break a little of them down. Then the rest, it messes up our stomachs and messes up the pyloric sphincter. And then it forces its way into the bloodstream. And then it starts cutting off arteries. So the body don't know what to do to the excessive protein buildup. So what it does is it breaks down into something called homocysteine. Homocysteine then breaks down more and it hides in the actual vascular walls. So what the body would do is the body breaks it down and turn it into pure collagen or pure protein. It seeps inside the vascular walls and then it builds up calcium. And this actually causes osteoporosis. Osteoporosis. It causes all your heart disease. This is from meat consumption. These are actually scientific back research articles of them talking about that. And then notice when the arteries close up, it prevents blood from flowing properly. This is going to raise the hydrostatic pressure and the oncotic pressure. This is what you call hypertension. So potentially most of so-called black people heart attack, most of so-called black people stroke, and all of these heart failure and disease is coming from meat consumption. And let's not talk about the high lipids or oils that's in the meat. Then you eating this meat, and then this meat and this oil actually literally coats the surrounding of your cells, or what you'll call the cellular membrane. And then you eating this and you want to get the glucose from it. And in order for glucose to penetrate the cells, for you to get the energy, for you can get ATP or what they call adenosine triphosphate, this is what gives you your vitality. And this is how you live your everyday life and live and breathe, is through ATP. Well, once the lipids from the meat coats the cells, you have something called the pancreas. Inside the pancreas, you have a beta cell that produces insulin. It's hard for the insulin to act as a key mechanism to even open up the cell to get the sugar inside the cells, because you can't even open up the cells because the cell is coated with this thick layer of lipids, or what we call protein. So like when you really essentially look at it for what it is, and I'm talking about melanated people. See, everybody want to argue with me about everybody else. I'm not an expert at everybody else, but I'm damn sure an expert when it comes to our molecular structure in biology. I've been studying it for 15 years, in and out, know everything about it. Experiments, schools, laboratory, petri dishes, sampling cells, whether they're live cells or whether they're dead cells, sampling live blood analysis, or waiting a couple of days until they completely dead, looking at it under thermal microscopes, getting the clear quartz, getting different types of glass, bringing it to different types of light for I can see the different levels of spectrums of these things. And what I've been realizing is that we have been lied to, and so-called African Americans is not made to eat the same diet as Europeans. And that is what's killing us. We eating the same diet, we taking the same medicines, we're introducing ourselves into these same climates, and then it's messing us up psychologically because we're following the same gods, we're following the same religion. Everybody is separated for a reason. Not saying that you can't commingle, you can't do business, you can't get to know people as humanity. But when you start living other cultures and it's not your culture, it's very, very detrimental to not only the body, but the mind, the spirit, and the soul. And these are facts.
You ever thought about quitting? With all of this, when you do get this criticism and all the hate and all that type of stuff.
I talk about it, but I be playing. I was built for this, man. Like, to be honest with you, I low key love it. Yeah. I love the hate, and the reason why I love the hate because it motivates me, and then I know if I aggravate you that much, if you seeing a picture of me, with my doctor's degree, if you see a picture of me in my office, in my clinic, and it pisses you off that much, that means you believe me.
That's how I am,
you
man.
low key,
Yeah.
you really believe what
Yeah.
I'm saying. You just not disciplined enough to do it.
Yeah.
I was the fat guy. I was the fat vegan guy. I just lost weight several months ago. On an all vegan diet, I still was gaining weight. You see what I'm saying? I live eating foods that I'm not supposed to be eating, even though they vegan. Eating for convenience. You see what I'm saying? So like I teach a frugivore diet. See, I'm very transparent. I teach that we are frugivores, which we are biologically, but I don't eat 100% fruit.
What kind of vegan foods we should not eat?
Man, you not stay away from the meat substitute, like the Beyond Meat. Stay away from that. That's owned by Bill Gates. So stay away from things like that. Most of your food, and I'm not vegan. I'm plant based. I love honey. And I want to make that right too. I don't eat meat. I don't eat dairy. I don't eat bread. I don't eat a lot of grains. I stay away from that. I don't eat a lot of beans as well. But I do eat fruits and I do eat vegetables. I eat chickpeas and stuff like that. But, when we traveling, we on the road and I'm going to these vegan places, we don't know the seed oils that they cooking your stuff in. So, for a whole 6 months before I got my chef, me and Nabi was traveling the world just eating all vegan food. According to what it looks like to the naked eye, it was healthy, but we didn't know if they was cooking this stuff in canola oil, seed oil. We don't know what type of seed oil it was, so I started gaining a bunch of weight. You know what I'm saying? And I held that weight for about a year and a half, 2 years. So I just got rid of all that and got away from all of that, got my own chef. I've been in the gym a lot and working out, and now my body is coming back to what it used to be. But you got to remember, I'm coming from, in 2009, I had a heart attack, man. I was 263 pounds. I'm only 5'6". So I was a big.
You was how big?
This was the range, and I'm not lying. 245 to 260 pounds.
Damn.
Yes, and I'm 5'6".
Did you have a nickname? They call you Fat Boy?
No, they ain't call me Fat Boy. They actually they call me Lex because my old middle name is Alex, so everybody call me Lex. Lex.
Oh, Lex. Okay,
yeah.
I thought you said Licks like getting some licks out there.
No. Was doing that too though.
Yeah. All right.
But this one I'm saying, so I'm not coming from a place that I know it all. I'm coming from a place where my libido wasn't working. I couldn't get an erection. I was very, very overweight. I had toenail fungus. I had fingernail fungus. I had scar tissue on my heart. My kidneys were actually in a failing stage. They wanted to put me on dialysis. I had hypertension. I had diabetes. This is real stuff that I have paperwork to show you I had these things. And my mama can sit here and tell you I had these things. My mama used to take me to the hospital every other week. You see what I'm saying? So I was sick. I used to have these light patches all over my skin because the melanin and the carbon used to leave my skin to go try to heal different areas of my body. Like I was really sick, and I didn't show pictures of me being that big. I've been showing them. So this is what I'm saying. I lost all of that weight. I healed my entire body. My kidneys are 100% functioning. I don't have any scar tissue on my heart no more. Don't have no problem in the bedroom no more. But I did have a problem many years ago when I was on that hypertension medicine. So I completely changed my life around. Who are you to take my information and mock me when I am the result of my own experiments and you never did none of the things that I asked you to do for you can receive those same results? And this goes back to mindset. So again, I'm not mad at the people. I'm mad at the mindset.
How did you get rid of the foot fungus?
Man, I use the ratio. So every day for 5 minutes, I used to brush my toes and my fingernails. I use sea salt. I use tea tree oil. So you got to get tea tree oil, oregano oil, and get you some sea salt. Get you a hard bristle toothbrush, and then you put all of this stuff into a little warm foot bath. You get a hard bristle toothbrush. You soak your feet in there for about 3 minutes, and then you brush. You brush your toes, and you brush between your toes, and then you brush your nails. On top of that, I had to realize that my food was fermenting too much because the Candida albicans inside of my small intestines was built up too much because all of the sweets and stuff that I was eating. So I stopped eating fruits for a while. See that? So even though we're frugivores, if your digestive system is not working properly and then you get on fruits, you will heal after a while, but you're going to see a bunch of expectorants. All toenail fungus is a cess of fungi trying to leave from the body, so it's going to leave from the extremities. You notice most people with toenail fungus get ringworms. It's the same type of parasite that we dealing with, but without these fungi, without these archaeas, without this bifidum bacteria, without the lactobacillus, we couldn't live. The body have 150 trillion cells in it. Out of them 150 trillion cells, 100 trillion of them cells don't even belong to you. It belongs to the microbiome or the microbial kingdom. These are microbes that actually make up this civilization of things and cells, and then these civilization of things and cells actually make up organs. Then these organs make up organ systems, and then these organ systems make a full-grown human being. You have more DNA inside of your body right now that doesn't even belong to you. It belongs to the microbiome or the microbe kingdom. And the moment that you imbalance these microbes, or you upset these microbes, or you start feeding them the wrong things, they will pleomorphosize themselves into other different things like parasites to try to help come aid and heal the body. We believe in disease, but there's no such thing as disease. Our body is wonderfully and miraculously made to heal itself. We have been taught by the allopathic community or the drug cartel. They have taught us that these symptomologies are actually the body dying or decomposing or disease setting in for you can go and get the treatment. Because if you teach a people, these symptoms, cold and flu-like fevers, that's good. The fever is set in to thin out the blood. The reason why you thinning out the blood is because the blood needs to flow properly. Inflammation is a healing mechanism. It's to localize a specific part of the body for all of the different healing modalities can get to that area. A cough is to break up, coagulated mucus inside the bloodstream. A sneeze is to clear the airways. You have skin irritations, that's the skin defecating because your kidneys and your adrenals are not working properly. So your skin is not only an absorption factor, but it's a eliminative factor as well. So when you see your skin having expectorants on it, it is getting rid of toxins before it won't go into the bloodstream. The bloodstream must maintain a pH of 7.45. If it go 3 decimals up or down, you will either die of acidosis or alkalosis. So the whole entire body is to protect the blood. That's what the whole entire body does, because without the blood, you don't get oxygen. Without the blood, you don't get phytonutrients. Without the blood, you don't get life. When you read in the Torah, it says that the life is in the blood. So the body protects the blood. That's why the blood is in the most protective part of the body, which is what you will call the bone marrow. It's in the middle of the bone. And then it expectorates and go out, and it flows like living water throughout the whole body to bring life and oxygen to the tissues. So when you really start looking at the body is a self-healing, recycled mechanism. Our personalities and the way that we conceptualize history and disease is what's giving us diseases, because the body is not doing that. The body is healing itself. You can't give me one disease that I can't give you a different perspective of how to look at it and say, damn, my body's actually working. Imagine you can't cough up mucus. Imagine they give you a cough suppressive medicine. Imagine they give you Claritin to stop you from sneezing because you're having this allergy, or you got these markers, these histamine markers in your body that's trying to get rid of particles from basically going through the blood and brain barrier and reaching your brain. But instead, you take Claritin to stop you from sneezing. Instead, you take cough suppressant to stop you from coughing, to break up that mucus. Imagine if that stuff stay in you. This turns into cancer. This turns into all the different so-called type of diseases that we talking about now. But even these are just late stages, last healing mechanisms before you die. Cancer is a last healing. It's the body's last attempt to get rid of all of the different cytotoxins and metabolic waste that have been built up into your bloodstream from you eating the wrong foods. When you even look at the cancer and you look at tumors, if you pop a tumor open, you're going to see lymphatic fluid and you're going to see blood. If you test the blood and the lymphatic fluid, you're going to see glucose and fructose inside the bloodstream. And then inside the lymphatic fluid, you're going to see macrophages. You're going to see basophils. You're going to see neutrophils. You're going to see monophils. This is all stuff that's a part of what they call the immunological system. The immune system is meant to heal the body and keep the body in a balance of homeostasis. So if a cancer tumor is bad, why did it take all the trash that was in the bloodstream and it put it in the trash bag for me, for I won't die of alkalosis or acidosis? Why would it take all of the damaged cells out of the tissues and put it in this bag that we call a tumor if a tumor is bad? Why does it stay away from robbing the bloodstream? Why does it? And then, in fact, it goes through a process called angiogenesis, where it will create new bloodstream to make sure it keeps feeding itself, to keep collecting the bad waste from the body, for the body won't become what they'll call septic.
Just to be clear, are you saying that cancer and tumors are good for us?
Cancers and tumors are good for you when the body has a bunch of toxins in them. Yes, it is. Now,
how long should these cancer and tumors last.
Until you eradicate all the toxins out of the body. We get rid of tumors all the time. I'm here. I mean, they know this. I'm here all the time. We get rid of tumors all the time, and the body gets rid of cancer all the time. I'm not a healer. I just help facilitate the healing. The body is a healer. I'll be ingenuous. I'll be disingenuous, and I will be on a high horse to say that I heal the body of anything. No, you have the power. Your body heals itself, and you can do this without buying herbs from me. That's how. It's not about the money. I'm a millionaire. It's not about the money. It's showing you who you are and the capabilities that the Creator gave you. A tumor. So for instance, if you're constantly eating foods that you're not supposed to be eating, whenever you eat these foods get broken down and get delivered to the cell. When the foods get broken down and get delivered to the cells eat these foods on a micro level. Well, just like you have to defecate and go to the toilet, your cells defecate. They just don't have legs and they're floating on an interstitium fluid called lymphatic fluid, so they poop on top of them cells. Well, what's supposed to happen is the lymphatic fluid goes through the body and it picks up all of the metabolic waste from the cells and take it to lymph nodes. When it goes to the lymph nodes, you have macrophages and bacteria that breaks this food down. When you break this food down, these foods turn into acids. So they got to go through these lymph vessels, go to the kidneys, and then you urine it out through something called urea. That's what your metabolic waste break down to, potentially urea and creatinine, and then you urinate it out, right? So this is the crazy thing about this, right? If the food you're eating is mucus forming and is acidic forming, they start to burn the cell. When they burn the cells, it messes up the integrity of the cells, and then it starts sucking the oxygen out of the cells. So the cells are made to go in an anaerobic state. Anaerobic mean without oxygen. Aerobic mean with oxygen. So whenever the body goes through a stage where they have to proliferate, or if they have to survive without oxygen, something sets in. It's called mutation. These are your 4 stages of detoxification, but the actual allopathic community will tell you that it's the 4 stages to disease. The first one is deficiency. So whenever you're deficient of minerals, whenever you're deficient of amino acids, or whenever you're deficient of oxygen, the next thing that sets in is actually adaptation. So since I'm deficient and my body is a healing mechanism, I'm going to adapt to my environment for I can live longer, right? So what's going to happen in the cancer stage? I need to adapt. All right, I'm not getting enough oxygen. Well, let me create these parasites. Let me create these anaerobic lactic acid so I can live without the oxygen. And I'm just going to start gathering all these cells up and putting them in a bag. And then I'm going to steal blood supply called angiogenesis. Now I got my own blood supply, plus I'm getting rid of all the trash. So now we actually see adaptation to the cells. Well, since the cells have to adapt, now they have to mutate to survive. So we have deficiency, we have adaptation, then we have mutation. Now that's what they say the cells, malignant cells, because they mutated. They don't look the same no more. They shouldn't look the same. It had to change to live in the environment. These are hard healing steps. Then once they go through its mutation state, then major detoxification sets in. And this is where you start seeing symptomologies of cold and flu-like symptoms, coughing, sneezing, fever, inflammation, redness, swelling, and pain. Everything, all them symptoms I just said is a symptomology of a tumor. So is the tumor there to kill you? No, it's there to help you. Now, could a tumor can kill you? Yes, it can if it blocks blood flow. But anything can block blood flow. A traumatic experience, getting in a car accident, can block blood flow that you can die of. So we can't blame it on that. It's kind of like you see me. A bank get robbed every week. Every week you see the bank get robbed. You see Yahki there. And the first thing you're going to say, that nigga Yahki have to be the robber. Because every time a bank get robbed, he's there. What happened if I'm there trying to save the bank from being robbed because I know the information and I know where they're going at next? That's the same thing that's happening with disease. We're blaming things on germs. We're blaming things on viruses. We're blaming things on all of this because every time you see the corruption or you see the evil standing of these things, you see something associated with it. But we never changed the perspective because we stuck in a European mindset and stepped outside the box and looked at it in a different way. Oh, every time I see Yahki at the bank when the bank is being robbed because he's trying to stop the robbers. Same thing with the parasites. They're trying to stop the robbers from the deficiency orders. Same thing with the bacteria, or what we call these pleomorphic microbiotas that's in the body. They're trying to stop the issue. Whenever you see acids in the body, you're going to see a bunch of bacteria because bacteria is in the body to eat acids. It's supposed to keep everything at homeostasis. So the first thing they're going to say is you have a bacterial what? Infection. You're not infected with anything. The bacteria over culturalized and overpopulated themselves for they can have enough people to eat the acids, because if these acids stay on the cells too long, you will go into an anaerobic state, and then the last stage of detoxification will kick in, which is what? Deficiency, adaptation, mutation. You see that? And then now you're creating cancer. We are too busy blaming the things in our body that's trying to heal our body as the actual criminals, when the real criminals is the things that we've been putting in our mouths, or the pollutants that they putting in the air, or the contaminants that they putting in the water, or the sun blocking technology they got right now, or the actual nanobot technology they giving us through penetrating our skins and delivering certain types of things, to the GMOs. To all these other different things. We're not looking outside of ourselves and blaming the real issue. Our real issue is discipline. Our real issue is the love for oneself. Our real issue is the lack of communication with ourselves. People don't even talk to their bodies. Have you ever talked to your body?
Yeah.
See,
I'm an athlete though.
But y'all get taught that type of stuff. People don't stretch. Yeah. You know how many people didn't work out last night? You know how many people didn't eat right yesterday? So we have been taught to depend on a system that is killing us. Oh, no, it wasn't your fault. It was the virus fault. Oh, no, it wasn't your fault. It was the bacteria fault. You can eat whatever you want to eat. Just take these pharmaceuticals and you will be all right. Since when is that all right? That's what I'm trying to teach the people. It is your fault that you're sick. And I know that hurt for me to say that, but it is your fault, because nobody forced you to eat those things that you're eating. Nobody forced you to eat those mucus and acid forming foods you're eating. Nobody forced you to drink the things you're eating. You have the power and the will to change your life, and we just don't do it because we have been pacified by the government far too long, and we're made to point the finger at everybody else but ourselves. You sick because you have failed to look in the mirror.
Absolutely. I appreciate the breakdown, but I want to go back to something you just said a few moments ago. Mm-hmm. You were saying that every time the bank get robbed, you there, and you was maybe you was there trying to stop the bank from getting robbed.
Yeah.
That's a bad record, man. If you there every time and you ain't stopped the bank from getting robbed yet, I tend to think you might be in on it, man. You might be an inside job, man,
Or the body is just that bad, and the body is just that acidic.
I'm talking about the body. I'm talking about the bank.
But see, I was using that as an analogy for the body. You see what I'm saying?
I got you, but I just couldn't.
Well, maybe I should have chosen another analogy.
I couldn't help
but
myself
I mean,
with that
works
thing.
good for me. It don't work at my lectures at the HBCU. They be like, "Dang, you showed right." But think about it though. You would get blamed. They say you have a tapeworm. Where did the tapeworm come from?
I feel you. I know exactly.
And why is the tapeworm in the body? And if you look at what the tapeworm eating, it is eating acids. And this is why I don't like about the autoimmune thing. This whole illusion, the autoimmune creation is just the biggest hoax in the world. As soon as they can't find what's happening or the root cause to your illness, they automatically blame it on the autoimmune disease. But when you look, like, for instance, multiple sclerosis, they say that the immune system is attacking the nervous system. But when you look at what's really happening, it's not the immune system attacking the nervous system. It's the phagocyte cells. It's the macrophages eating acids that's on the nervous system. Well, if you got so many acids on the nervous system, and then you have these different creatures, they're eating all of the acids off, every now and then the nervous system gonna get nicked. That's what happens. In how many people that wasn't in gangs got killed because of gang violence? They wasn't there to gang bang. They was there watching a movie, but they got hit on the accident. Is we saying that the bullet was the cause, or are we saying that the person that pulled the trigger? It's the person that pulled the trigger that caused the issue. It wasn't the actual bullet. And that's what we're doing when it comes to healing and health. We're blaming the wrong things. We blaming parasites, viruses, bacteria, archaea, fungi, when these things are not the problem. The problem and the root cause is what we're putting in our mouths. That's all I'm saying. So every time we see them at the crime scene, that doesn't mean that they committed the crime. They're trying to help the crime. They're trying to, let me not say that. They're trying to get rid of the crime.
I got you.
You get what I mean?
I get you. But man, what happened with you and Damon? I saw y'all on the video arguing, man. Like, what's going on?
Man,
what happened? I know y'all was talking about something about his diabetes condition.
First off, shouts out to Dame. Shouts out to Jamie. Shouts out to Prof, man. Yeah. Prophecy and Jamie. Shouts out to Radiant TV. We got a very, very big announcement coming with that soon. Something that I got going on with Prophecy and Jamie. But they introduced me to him. I've been hearing about him and things because I done heard him say a couple of things about diabetes mellitus 1, and he come from a stance that you can't heal it. And I'm like, well, we got the healing testimonies. I even sent him videos of it, and he like, well, I need to call the people with the wah, but I want to get you on here and we can come talk about it. So I'm thinking it's supposed to be a podcast like what we doing right now, but Dame is such a out of the box thinker, just like myself, so I can't knock him for it. When we got to the studio, he had total different plans than the podcast. In fact, when I called it a podcast, he was offended. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that, Dame, but that's what I was told that we was gonna do. We was gonna do a podcast. So talking to him on the phone, he was basically saying, he willing to hear me out, and if it sound good, he willing to change. He all for it. The people need this knowledge and information. He haven't really watched me for real, but lately since he watched me, this would be good for the culture. So we get there and we sit down and we start going in. And it just seemed like he was disagreeing with everything I was saying, it became very combative, and he wouldn't let me speak. So that's what, if you listen to the video, I'm like, damn, let me talk, let me finish, because it's hard because if this for the world, because man, we got each other numbers, we can do this all day over the phone. But if this is for the world and all of my followers are listening to this, then let's hear each other out. That way, the people can really get the information, and it doesn't sound so cluttered. And he wouldn't let me do that at first, so it didn't seem like an argument. It was just a little frustrating for me because he wouldn't let me finish my complete thought. So it just made it seem like he was being disrespectful to me as far as the comments. Me, I didn't really take it as disrespect. I know Dame. Dame is he leads with his mind. What's on his mind, he got to hurry up and say it. So I get that. I'm the same way. So it just looked like we was arguing back and forth, but we wouldn't. So eventually, I guess he seen it. He got up and left, and then he started letting people sit down, and then it smoothed itself out in the end. But the part that he wouldn't agree with was that he didn't want to take away his meat and stuff like that. He I'm going to eat. I mean, not the meat. He was just like, I'm going to eat certain things I want to eat, because I don't even believe Dame eat meat, do he? Because Dame, I don't know if he's vegan or not, but it was just certain dishes that he was just like, I'm not doing that every day. Yeah. Basically, he said it on there. Y'all can listen to his own words. He basically said, if I got to do all of this to get rid of diabetes, and I can eat what I've been eating and keep my diabetes as long as I take my insulin, then that's what I'm gonna do. And it just became problematic for the sit down, because I'm like, dang, we here to educate. So you can't throw that out there. We educating the people and giving the people a different option. But I think he heard it out, because he did get up and leave. But I want to say this: that was a amazing sit down with him. It was amazing seeing that band come together. The way I see his vision. So even though it didn't work out in the podcast or conversation setting, when it comes to the overall of what he's trying to do with American New TV, I actually get what he's trying to do. So for that, much respect to you, brother.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what it was. It's just, you have, it's back to what I was talking about. You have different cultures. When we talking about Dame, he's very, very self-reliant when it comes to building businesses, being his own boss and things like that. But when it comes to medicine, you can just tell by listening to him and what triggered him, he's still looking at it from a different European concept. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just like, we have to hear each other out, though. Listen to my concept, and I listen to yours. And again, no animosity. I love Dame. He's a legend out here. He's a visionary, and he literally, I mean, that's a revolutionary type of guy right there. So shouts out to you, Dame. But yeah, that interview was crazy, man.
To Dame.
Yeah.
Hey, man, look here. How much is mental trauma connected to psychological distress and disease?
Man, very. You have something called psychoimmunological system, literally, where your so-called immune system, and I say so-called for a reason. My book coming out gonna tell you all about that. But you can have different types of changes within your molecular structure based off of your thoughts. We have to understand that, like, for instance, if you angry, that is norepinephrine. When you in a state of fight or flight, that's what you would call norepinephrine. When you're in a state of fight or flight and you're scared, that's called adrenaline. When you're in love, your love chemistry is called oxytocin. That's your binding love hormone. When you're happy, that's called dopamine. When you're hungry, that's called serotonin. So when you look at any type of psychological chemicals in the body, because there's no thought that doesn't release a chemical through the body. You can measure these things. So it's showing you that having a certain thought can have a physical change on your biology, even having a belief system. It was many studies shown that people, like for instance in India, people will go to these medicineless hospitals, have the belief of them healing themselves, and they'll heal themselves. It was another scientific study done here in the Americas. It was called the placebo effect, where they will give you a sugar pill, act like it's some type of chemotherapy or some type of drug, and just because you believe in the European doctor so much, this doctor have so much powerful influence over your psyche, they can give you a pill that is 100% sugar and tell you that it's going to work, and you go home and you take those sugar pills and all your symptomologies go away. So showing you that the biology of belief, shouts out to Dr. Bruce Limpton for this, but the biology of belief, a belief and an emotion can trigger and change your biology. And this is proven fact. So when you talk about trauma can actually get caught up in the tissues, because remember, trauma and experiences is chemicals. Well, what happened if you got scar tissues with these chemicals locked in, and then they get solidified or calcified? Until you're able to move and get rid of those actual scar tissues to release these chemicals so they can defecate and leave out through the system, you're going to be stuck in this same emotional state or this same physical state. That's why you have things called stress-related high blood pressure. Have you ever heard of that? Think about it's actually called it's called work hypertension, where people will be at home and their blood pressure will be normal, and then the moment that they go to work, their blood pressure shoot up to 10 to 20 points based off the high stress environment or where they put their psychological thought set, showing you that the psyche and trauma has a direct effect on not only the biology but the functionality of your cells, man. So what you're saying is very true. You can think certain thoughts to make you sick, and you can think certain thoughts to make you healed. You can think certain thoughts to make you angry and pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Or you can think of certain thoughts that have you smiling. I can do that right now. And I could think about hugging my son, my 2-year-old, that he always say, Abba, I love you so much. That give me this warm dopamine feeling. It gives me oxytocin. That's a binding chemistry. Or I can think about a brother that did me wrong 10 years ago, and it gets me angry as hell. I'm pretty sure that my blood pressure will go up because all these different types of chemistry goes inside the bloodstream. So biology of belief is real. Traumatic experiences and emotions, or what you'll call energy and motion, have a chemical effect on the tissues that make up your body.
Right.
That's a good question too, Willie. That's a good question.
Thank you. I want to ask this. This is a good question. It's personal for me. I need to know this. I'm a seasoned gentleman. I like to engage in extracurricular activities with my woman. And I'm pretty good at what I do. I mean, I'm cold-blooded with it. But I want to continue to be cold-blooded with it. What can I do as a seasoned man to make sure that the wood stay good?
Man, the wood stay good. Your first indication if it's going bad is if you stop having morning wood. If you stop,
I ain't had that problem.
Oh, so you good. So
okay, I'm good so far.
So far. Okay. But the whole thing is we gotta, when you look at penile cells, that's where it come from penis, it's called penile. Penile cells are very elastic, so it tends to hold a lot of blood if blood is focused there. So it's proper blood flow. So if you want to keep erection and have good sex, I say build up those tissues, those penile muscles and penile tissues, because the stronger the muscles, the more you can hold on to it. Make sure that you constantly increasing blood flow. Lycopene is very good for that. That's the actual red coloration you see inside your watermelon. So watermelon is very, very good. Coconut water is very good. Anthocyanins is amazing. These
what about
actual
copper and zinc?
Yeah, so I'm getting right now I'm saying the foods, then we're gonna break down that. Copper and see, you already on it. So copper and zinc is actually what helps makes seminal fluid. Your seminal fluid is what makes your sperm and your semen, but this actually is built by testosterone. So high testosterone will actually give you that when it's a natural testosterone. You can build up your testosterone by doing squats. Squats is very, very good to get you testosterone. You can also massage your penis when you get it erected and do the wet towel method. That'll help you increase circulation to that area. Not only will it help you get increased circulation to that area, but it will strengthen up those muscles. And then you have libido exercises where you do thrusting exercises and things like that. That'll help you out in the bedroom. But zinc and copper and selenium is very, very good for not only the blood circulation, but it's good sperm health. And anything that helps the sperm helps the libido. Because the whole thing is, I mean, you going in there for the pleasure of things at this point, you know, but it is for procreation. So anything that helps out the semen helps out the actual Johnson itself. But circulation, focus on circulation. Smoking cigarettes is very bad for circulation to the penis. Heavy drinking is very bad for circulation to the penis as well. Taking steroids and a lot of your pharmaceutical drugs is very bad for circulation to the penis. I couldn't get an erection for 2 years when I was on hypertension medicine.
See, I think that's why I'm so cold-blooded with it, man, because I don't have those type of issues. I don't do none of those I don't have those vices. And so I remember this guy told me once, he was in his 40s when he told me this, and I think I was in my maybe late 20s. Man, when you get in your 40s, man, that thing ain't gonna be able to work like it used to,
that ain't
man.
true.
And da-da-da-da.
Dr. Sabi had a baby in his 90s, I believe.
He spooked me a little bit. You know, I'm like, I was like, I guess I'm gonna be done.
No.
And then here I am, 57, man. I mean, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, long as you getting your electrolytes, your minerals, you have proper blood flow, and you getting all of those different minerals you need, you shouldn't have that issue. Now, as you do age, you see autophagy set in a different way in the body, and you see that muscle tissues tend to break down. That's why they recommend that people that's over 40 work out or do at least strength training 3 times a week, because the more muscle you can hold on to when you're older, you're less likely to die of heart attack and stroke, and it keeps your cells young. So,
what type of training?
Basically high intense training, strength training, you know, lifting weights, really building on muscles and packing on that collagen fiber.
What about cardio?
Cardio cool, but as you age and you get older, cardio is still important, but it's not important.
I like to run.
It's not more. See, that's good, but it's not more important than strength training. You know, once you over 40. Focus on strength training, building muscle, because the more muscle you build, the longer the cells actually last. They divide slower. You know, the problem with death is the cells start dividing too many times, and they only get 70 divisions before the cells die and then have to re-replicate again. So, and then that only goes so long too. Just like a woman already have as many eggs that she's going to give birth to already in her system when she's born, that's come down from her grandmother, as many seeds as in her is what she got. She can never go past that. Same thing with your cells. Your cells already have a ticking time on them. It's a time on all of them. It's called biological clocks. You know, they call it the circadian rhythm. Each of your cells have a clock within inside of them, and once that clock is up, the cell dies. You can't really you can prolong the clock and make it tick slower, but once it meets the deadline, that's the deadline. And what they found out is heat shock proteins prolong the cells. That's basically getting into heat. Basically involving yourself or getting into type of cold environments prolong the cells. That's like plunging into cold water at least 3 to 6 minutes a day. Onset of autophagy, what you call intermittent fasting, eating once a day. Literally, for real, you're fasting for like 16 hours a day, and then an 8-hour window of you eating. And then when you eat things that agree with your chemical, biological, molecular structure. That helps your cells last longer. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do, but really eating right, eating according to your biological makeup, making sure that you're not having those vices that we're talking about, man. The libido, you have good libido. That's not the issue.
Let's go back to that wet towel. The wet towel is when you put put it on you.
Yeah, so you gotta get yourself erected, or you can have your significant other get you erected. You'll wet the towel, and then don't have it drippy wet, but just get it wet enough where it retains moisture and gets heavy. Once your penis get hard, you will say if your penis, let's just say 6 inches, you're gonna take 2 inches of the towel and put it over 2 inches of the tip of your penis, and you literally, your whole thing is for the next 5 minutes is to every second by Mississippi is to lift the towel. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Every time
this is penis weightlifting.
Yeah. So I don't know if we can say it on here, but they call them dick ups. You got push ups and you got dick ups. but look, okay. But this been around for a long time, and it really works. It works, you know. And you will hear a bunch of the OGs talking about this. You know, I used to think it was just a myth, but I actually found different articles that speak on stuff like this. And then like the pelvic thrusting is amazing, where you get down on your knees and you literally bend back and you just thrust forward like you're in a doggy style position, and you do that. you do reps. You do 20 reps, and then after you do 20, you rest for 30 seconds. You do 15. After you do that, you rest for 30 seconds. You do 12, and then you do 10. And you just go through all these different pelvic floor exercise and strengthening up the muscular pelvic floor that helps with sex, and it increases your sex drive too. That's why a lot of women, older women that's in the gym a lot, they love to have sex. That's why a lot of older men that's working on leg day, they don't miss leg day, they want to hump a lot because they're building up so much sexual chemicals and hormones, and it just drives them crazy. So I think the best thing for men and women who want to keep their sex life thriving in older age, I hate to say the word older, but in older age, is eating healthy and working out and really, really focus on strength training.
And in regards to water, again, I just want to be very clear on this. You said that we're not supposed to drink water? So
we have evolved to drink water. That's what I'm going to say. I got a whole lecture coming out about this, and I'm not saying you're not supposed to drink water. You are supposed to drink water. It's better if you require your water from your fruits than from a live spring. That's what I'm saying. So
what's the longest have you went acquiring your
water through fruits? Me personally, a whole year and a half.
No water.
A whole year and a half.
Like I did no drinking water.
No drinking water
for a whole year and a half. And no kind of infections or nothing. No, it healed
my body. I have an elder right now in Panama. His name is Aris Latham. He haven't drunk water in about 40 years. I have another elder. Yes, I have another Garrett. Yes, I have another elder that's in Ethiopia. He haven't drunk water in 50 years. So, like, this is new to America. This is not new to everybody else. These things are new to European culture and concepts. But your water is supposed to come from your fruit. It's naturally supposed to come from your fruit. You have hydrophilic and you have hydrophilic and hydrophobia materials that's inside the fruit that actually changes the molecular weight and structure of the water. For instance, water right now, if you walk into the water slowly, you will sink, right? But if you go high in the air and you jump into the water from a high altitude, you hit the water like concrete, meaning that water is surfaceless, but it has a surface at the same time. So it shows you, depending on the surface or what you're bringing to the water, it changes the structure of the water. That's why a plane can fall and crash in the water and break apart. But you can go skinny dipping and jump in the water and don't even leave any type of water molecules or particles to go up, and you will sink down. So depending on depending on the speed or depending on the surface that you meet with the surface of the water, it changes the molecular structure of the water. They're talking about H2O, which is a dipole antenna molecule. I'm talking about H3O2, which is a real actual water that is highly alkaline and is more structured. I'm not talking about drinking bulk water. So what I'm telling people is it is more natural for you to eat your water than to drink your water. Imagine this. Imagine you have to eat your food and then you have to go to a river, a well, a spring to get your water, and you got your food and you got your water next to you. But imagine if you go to a tree and you get an apple from the tree and the only thing you do is eat that, and you're getting your amino acids, you're getting your fructose, and you're getting your water from the same thing, and you don't have to eat multiple things. When you look at it like that from an evolutionary standpoint, that's what I mean is you're better off eating your water than drinking your water. I have a whole presentation on this. I did a whole presentation on this. I'm not the only one that's been saying this. You have Dr. Pollock that's been saying this thing for a long time. You have a bunch of Japanese scientists that have been speaking about this for a long time. There's different types of water. You have bulk water, then you have exclusion zone water. Exclusion zone water, you can either change regular water by enhancing the hydrogen atoms that's in that water and make it H3O2, or you can simply just go get it from your fruits and vegetables and it's already there. And the thing about water, the amino acids from the regular water that we've been drinking, it has other marine life amino acids in them. The actual amino acids that come from fruits and strawberries, and they have their own DNA and their own amino acids from them. You see what I'm saying?
Is there a certain amount that you should be drinking or taken from the fruit?
So, I mean, it depends on the fruit. You have watery fruits, then you have fruits that don't have that high density of water in it. For instance, romaine. Romaine is like 89% water. Cucumbers is 99% water. Coconut. Watermelon is 97. Look, when you actually think watermelon have more or less content than cucumbers, but the watermelon come from the cucumber. The melon family all come from something called the curcubital family, and this is the cucumbers. If you look at a watermelon is a hybrid. I don't care how original you find it, because it all comes from the cucumber. The cucumber or the melon family has the highest water content, and when you look at the structure of that water, it is not a dipole antenna in there. It's actually what you would call a tripole antenna. And I know it sounds crazy because it's not in your textbooks, but there's many books that speak about this a lot. It's called the fourth phase of water. And when you take this water breaks down into H3O. That's the water inside of your body. Now, when you're drinking H2O water, the water then have to change to H3O2, then be converted back into H3O, which is the water that's already in your tissues. It's a difference. That's why if you look at interstitial fluid, it's not this liquid, leaky type of water. It's more of a jellified structured water. This is highly structured water. So just thinking about conveniency, thinking about not going against your physical anatomy, not bending down, lapping the water, or have to create cups to sop the water and things like that. That's what I mean by it's more natural to go to a tree, pick your fruit, bite into it, because you not only get your water or your hydration, electrolytes. We think drinking a liquid is meaning something. The only reason why we drink the liquids is for electrolytes. That's it. And for minerals. And that's the reason why spring water will do, because spring water goes against a rock bed and it takes the actual minerals from that rock bed and it puts it in the water. Then you drink the actual water and you get those minerals or those mineral oxides from the actual rock. You don't have to do the same thing when you go to a fruit. The minerals already is accumulated from the soil because they go through mycorrhizas type of things. It moves through the tree trunk. The sun hits on it. It go through photosynthesis and it changes the structure of the water while it's in the fruit. So when you eat a fruit, you get your amino acids, you get your fructose, you get your glucose, you get everything you need when you eat the fruits. You get your minerals, you get your electrolytes. When you're drinking bulk water, you don't get all those essential things. And this is facts. And there's plenty studies showing that you can get intoxicated from too much water consumption. That's the reason why you can't give water to a baby until the baby turns 2, because its biochemical molecular structure is not made for that type of liquid. But guess what you can give a baby? Fruit juice, coconut water. You can get a baby galactose. And matter of fact, what closely is assimilate galactose or breast milk of a mother is coconut water. It's the only structure that even come half close to the structure of galactose or to the structure of what you would call human milk. So I'm not saying that you can't drink water. I mean, obviously I'm drinking water now. But would I have rather had some juice that came from fruits? Hell yeah. So that's all I'm saying. What people do is they took a 2-hour and 30-minute lecture I did. They snipped out 17 seconds of it and they ran with it. It was on Hollywood Unlocked. It was on Say Cheese. It was on some of the biggest hip hop networks I ever seen. But why couldn't they do that with all the positive things I did? Why couldn't they do that with the healing testimonies?
We know the answer to
but
that.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it didn't fit the narrative.
So we got to quit chasing the narrative, though. Common sense and culture, from any intelligent being, I would have said, he sound crazy as hell, but this only a snippet. Where's the whole video so I can see why this very intelligent man said that? It had to be a reason behind it. That's what I would have did. And then when I listened to the whole video, I would have said, hey, he owned to something. Let me do more research. And in fact, let me do a 30-day juice fast and not drink no water. And you will see that you are more hydrated doing it that way. And I have 100,000 people right now on nothing but juice. I post it all the time on my Instagram. So when I say that drinking water is unnatural, I'm saying it's unnatural in the state as, why would I go drink bulk water when I can get this same primary, highly alkaline water from my fruits and from my vegetables? And I didn't coin the word eat your water. Eat your water been around for 100 years. Meaning that it's other people that thought the same thing. These things are just not spread upon media because it goes against the water agenda. If I'm telling you get your water from fruits and vegetables and you decide to grow a fruit and vegetable tree and you stop buying bottled water, which ain't nothing but tap water, and you already ain't drinking your tap water, then how would the water companies like Coca-Cola and them make over $3 trillion a year? It's an agenda. Now, you do have primary water that's high in the mountains and that come from trees. And this come from, thousands of feet deep within the earth and is usually tapped into a glacier. That is very, very highly organized water. But half of us ain't more, not even 1% of us have access to that water. The access to water you have is tap water that you think is spring water that's coming from plastic bottles that's not even freaking BPA free. So stop playing. Y'all arguing with me when I'm trying to give y'all a way to drink naturally filtered water that's highly structured and keep you from drinking tap water. Like, come on, man. It don't make no sense whatsoever. But that's the hocus pocus in this type of game we playing.
You know what runs me hot, man, is somebody like you is a world treasure. I mean, you are necessary. And your love for your people is resounding. And so it brings me to the point of, like, how do we have these situations where someone like you, who is so passionate and compassionate and has so much to offer, so much positivity to offer, so much life-saving advice to offer, could be viewed as someone who is dangerous? And it underscores the, how wicked of a society that we live in. Because I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm like, this dude is dangerous to the agenda. That's dangerous. What I want to know is, how have you taken steps? I don't need to know particular steps, but have you taken steps to make sure that they don't just try to Dr. Sabi you?
I keep security on me. I got my paperwork right. I got all my credentials, I got all my credentials. I'm actually a doctor, so they can't like come and just do crazy things to me. They're gonna have to go through some type of channel.
They do.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go through some type of channels. But they follow me around. FBI done pulled up on us. They cut my brake lines. They done did so much. This my manager right here. They follow us everywhere. So like we see the stuff, but I got security and I have faith. My issue is like the people need to protect me. My own people. It's just they failed to do that. And I think it's because I'm picking at certain type of psychological traumas that's very deep within them that make them have to look in the mirror and see that they've been faking their whole lives. And I think that hurt a lot of people. When I first woke up to the reality of the truth, I was mad, angry, and didn't want to believe it either. But the truth is the truth. And this to the people out there. I used to be a person that thought eating meat was healthy. I was a person that thought, drinking wasn't nothing wrong with it as long as I didn't do it every day. I was the same person that thought, drinking water was amazing. I was drinking a gallon of water a day and was still dehydrated according to blood work. According to blood work, I'm drinking a gallon of water a day, but I'm still dehydrated. So I went through all of this stuff. This is not coming from a person that doesn't know what he's talking about. I know more than what I'm talking about because I experienced it. Because I'm the same person that stopped eating meat going on 15 years. I'm the same person that didn't drink a lick of water for a year and a half. I'm the same person that went 120 days without putting nothing in my mouth but juice. It's called the geogenetic juice therapy that I created. I'm not doing this for money. I gave y'all the recipe. You can go to the store, buy these things yourself and make them yourself. I haven't asked for anything. I've never asked for money from the people or nothing. So for people to say I'm a scam or I'm a charlatan or I'm asking for, I've never asked nobody for nothing. Anything. You can't find one video where I ask anybody to donate. None of that. This is free information. I haven't charged nobody for this information. None of that. I'm on all these platforms for free. I'm not out here to get the people. So since I'm not out here to get the people and I'm bringing y'all this information so fearlessly and willingly, protect me. And how you protect me is you keep spreading the word. How you protect me is you don't talk about me. You listen to the whole matter. How you protect me is not only listen to the whole matter, apply the information, make it applicable, and see if it works or not. Then give your criticism after you try it, and pray for me. Do good affirmations over me because I'm not here to harm you because I'm not asking for nothing. It'd be a difference if I was out here like a pastor asking you for things. Everything I tell you is for free. Of course, I sell a product. You know what I mean? But you got to buy that because I pay for it. But all this information, man, I haven't charged a dime for it, man. I give my own herbal recipes. Whenever I tell somebody they need to heal, I give them the herbal recipe that I make first. And then I say, if you don't want to make that, you can go to the website and buy it. So if you have a inspiring mind like my mind is, And I'm out here giving this knowledge and information for free, which means I have a good will and intention. And I don't have an agenda behind it. All I ask is just be decent and respectable enough to yourself to search out the matter, apply it. And that's all the protection I need. I don't want to die in vain. That's what I don't want. We all got to leave here. We all got to die of something. I just don't want to die in vain. I don't want to die being mocked because my people didn't even test what I'm talking about. Forget the books, forget the literature. All of that is hearsay. Prove it by doing the experiments and taking the fast and stop going on a diet yourself. Then let's sit at the round table and have these type of conversations. I was just probably like 5 days ago, me and Nabi was talking about, Nikola Tesla. And how everybody thought he was crazy because he went against the relativity thing, 0-point gravity. He went against a bunch of books. He went against the whole physics books. And he said that it's free energy in the ethers. We can tap into the ethers. We can get free electricity. And the people can live off electricity for free. Blew everybody's mind. He's a liar. He got demons. He's going mad. He's going crazy. But the very military that runs the United States, every electrical pole out here right now that's grounding to the ground, the lights on in this building right now, and it's all based off of the people that everybody mocked, the people that everybody called crazy, because he thought outside the box. But he didn't get that from himself. He got that from the ancients, from Tartaria. See, what I'm saying and everything I'm mentioning, it didn't come from me. It's just I'm tapped into the ancient ones that's been talking about this for thousands and thousands of years. It's just up to our people to quit calling everything a scam and calling everything a lie. And we need to start publicizing thoughts like these. Helping challenging each other's ways of thinking, stepping outside the box, the way to revamp education. Instead of sharing ass-shaking videos, sharing murder videos of our people getting killed in the streets, sharing dogs attacking our men and eating. We share and we promote the most psychological, culture-damaging things, and we won't promote or share anything that will elevate us consciously and liberate us as a people. And we are a people that is not only mentally, but we are still physically enslaved. And these people have done a great job of masking the matrix so much that we actually think we have a sense of freedom, and we don't. And you can tell by how the people choose not to protect me and how they respond to new information. So protection, man, listen to the information, share the content, and apply the knowledge. I gotta die regardless, just like you do and everybody in this room do.
I ain't got to die, really. I ain't just got to die. I know.
Well, you have to transit. Let me say a better word. We all have to transition from this flesh. We all have to leave the third dimension. Okay. I just say, if we're gonna transition, we're gonna leave it. Let's leave our mark behind. Let's set up a foundation for the generations behind us. That way, they have something solidified that they can grow up with that'll bring them back to their culture and who they are as a people.
Absolutely. This thing right here, cell phone. How is this connected to like cancer and autism?
Man, it's connected to cancer and autism. For one, it breaks down the cells. You have microwaves that come through the cells, and it penetrates the cells, and it changes the molecular structure of the cells. And not only that, it's microwaves. What happens is your phone right now is trying to ping to towers, right? And when it pings to towers, you have an activation phase where it's trying to connect to the towers. Whenever it's trying to connect to the towers, it brings on this high heat or intensity to the cells, and it literally modifies the cells and make the cells malignant. When you look at the microwave, it acts like any other rays. We have a bunch of different rays and waves inside of our bodies and frequencies inside of our body. Matter of fact, when you reach a certain frequency, this is when they say sicknesses and disease and illness sets on. That is a very, very low frequency that is very bad for the cells. So whenever you own the phone, I suggest that people keep it away from their ears. We just shown how McLean, he had a brain tumor, and his brain tumor was on the same side that his cell phone was on all the time. It's called the cell phone area. It was a singer that I just did a lecture about. She had a tumor on the same side that her cell phone was on. It was a famous NBA player. He had a tumor on the same side that the cell phone was on. In fact,
but are they all right-handed and all this? Is it
no? It's on the same side. Like McLean's was on the right, the NBA's was on the left, and the other singer was on the right. I've showed 6 people, and it's only where, and these are left-hand and right-handed people, and it's only where their cell phone area is at. So you start Googling and you start going deep into the research and getting into the scientific database, they don't promote, or they don't give you this stuff in the US. You got to find it in Japan, you find it in China, and you find it in Australia, where they flat out telling you that the phones can cause autism, and it can cause cancer, and it can cause brain tumors, and to stay away from it. In one article, it said that you need to limit your children's use to the phone to 10 minutes a week. 10 minutes a week. And it tells you never to put it in your pocket because it's close to the prostate. Then you start Googling the phone and prostate cancer, all these different things will show up. Never put it in your pocket. Women never put it in your bra because it gives you breast cancer. So we're talking about technology that gives away a frequency. Yeah, that's what I do. We're talking about technology that gives away a frequency that basically can mutate the cells. And it's frequency. And that's what they've been using on us our whole entire lives, is frequencies. The radio, the laptop, the phones, the microwave, the refrigerator, even the wall outlets that's in your room. Notice how they put them on each, according to code, there's one on each wall. And then you're sleeping with your head by these outlets every day. And then you wonder why a lot of people wake up with migraines. They dehydrated, and then they start getting tumors. It can even be coming from the wall outlets. So I teach people that's healing, sleep in the middle of the floor if you have to. Take your bed, put it in the middle of the floor. But it's a lecture I just did on my YouTube, Yahki Wille, talking about the cell phone use and its association with cancer and autism, and that's what it was. There was another one that they showed where they took autistic children that was trying to heal them naturally, right? And it would not work. They stayed on the spectrum because they couldn't get rid of any metabolic waste or heavy metals from their brain. And how they test these heavy metals is they prick your hair. Same thing they do when they check the roots of your hair for marijuana. Well, heavy metals don't go nowhere. If they're leaving out, they leave out through the hair. And they check their hair, and they noticed that the heavy metal was not detoxifying naturally through their hair like regular people. So what they did was they said, let's do a study. Let's take 16 of these children and let's put them in a building that have no radioactive frequency. We're going to take Wi-Fi away. We're going to take cell phones away, laptops away, anything that produces a frequency that is not harmonizing with the body. We're going to take it out. They did that for 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, they checked their hair strands. Guess what was being naturally detoxified from their hair? These heavy metals, these metals that's not supposed to be in the body, these mercuries, all these different metals that help contribute to autism when you get that. I don't know if we can say that on here or not.
Mm-hmm, the jab.
Yeah, the jab. So we know that it's mercury. We know that there's unwanted metals inside the jab. And we know that certain of these jabs is actually associated with autism. Well, in order to get these things out of the bloodstream, you have to detoxify all the heavy metal contaminants out of the body. Usually these things passes the blood and brain barrier and make it through the cerebrospinal fluid, and it teams up with something called amyloid protein, and it creates a plaque and it stays inside the head. If the body is expectorating the right way, you will be able to see that the body is detoxifying by taking a hair strand and just testing the sample, and you can see the metals in the solution. They noticed that when these children was around the phones and stuff like that, they couldn't detox through their hair. A hair is a limited organ, meaning your hair is a detoxification organ. Not only that, it's actually an extension of your nervous system too, but that's a whole nother topic. But when they checked them around phones and around laptops and screens and all of that, hair would not detoxify the metal, wouldn't get rid of the jab. But the moment they put them in a controlled environment where there was no type of frequencies and electrical radioactivity coming from cell phones and laptop uses and tablets, their hair started detoxifying the actual jab through their hair strands. This is facts. All y'all have to do is look this up. And if y'all want to look it up and find the exact article, just type, after you type that in, just type in hair metals and autism associated with cell phone use and cancer scholarly article. A whole bunch of articles will pop up saying the same thing, and not one of them is from the US. Why is that? Because the cell phones is connected to promotions, it's connected to marketing, it's connected to the television. Right now, the cell phone is our televisions now. It's our way of communication. It's our way of socializing. So billions and billions and billions of dollars is made from the cell phones. If the cell phone companies will come out and say this, they wouldn't buy cell phones no more, meaning that it will break their pockets. So what they do is they sweep this type of stuff under the rug. It was his name is Dr. Carlos, if I'm not mistaken, and they actually paid him like $30 million to sweep this under a rug, and then I guess it ate up his conscience because 10 years later he released these very articles I'm talking about.
And they didn't kill him?
Nah, he's still alive.
What?
Yes. Yeah, man.
Them killers, man. They out there, boy.
Man, you can look this
killers,
up.
man. They don't mind
Yeah,
killing.
you see that dude that just got killed talking about that bow and stuff, man.
Yeah.
Exposing that, man. They killed him in a parking lot.
Yeah, they'll kill you, man. They'll kill you. They ain't got.
But he's still alive, man.
They
And
ain't got no problem.
I guess he had a guilty conscience for changing the data, and that's why we can't trust the data, because they will pay you to do an experiment to weigh in their favor.
Yeah.
That's why you cannot trust the data. You have to have good intention, somebody with a good heart doing these experiments. And that's why I say y'all should trust in the people. Trust in the ones that ain't charging you for the knowledge, like me. Trust my experiments, or do the experiments yourself.
Absolutely. We trust you. What can we do as cell phone users to protect ourselves daily? Because we're not going to stop using cell phones.
Facts. Just use it less.
So how can we mitigate the danger?
Mitigating the danger, use the cell phone less. Make sure that you're not on your cell phone a whole hour out of the week. Because the singer that got the tumor on her cell phone area, she was on the phone, I think they said an hour or two a day, because she was recording her album, right? She was rehearsing her album. That's what happened with that. So whenever you have your phone and you own your phone, keep it on speakerphone at least 3 feet away from you, which is your arm length. Right? Never put it in your pocket or put it on your persons. Get you an EMF protector bag to put it in. When you go to sleep, make sure it's in the other room and it's not by your head. For those that have already had a bunch of heavy cell phone use in the opposite way of what I just said, get you some bladder rack. Bladder rack is known for getting radioactivity and metals out of the body. It's known for that. So bladder rack. Get you some shungite crystals. A shungite crystal actually blocks radioactivity. An orgite crystal, it blocks activity. It's so many things that we can do. It's just the information is not privy to the world that we don't know about. And dark leafy green vegetables. Dark leafy green vegetables is high in chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is known to break up radioactivity, especially microwave activity, and it purges the cells. So chlorophyll from your dark leafy green vegetables, bladderwrack or sea moss to get rid of the radioactivity, to push out the metals, and never keep your phone on your persons. And if you on the phone, make sure the phone is at least 3 feet away from you on speakerphone. And never ever put the phone to your ear when you calling somebody, because remember, it's the activity side. When the phone is trying to ping to another tower is when it's the strongest. That's when the phone is ringing, or when you're calling somebody else. Always keep it away from you on speakerphone. And that'll I think that'll do a major major deal and keep a lot of people from getting these cells.
What about the earpods?
Earpods is worse than the cell phone. It's microwave just stuck in your ear.
Damn.
Yeah,
man.
that's why. Yeah. So if you look at my Beats by Dre, I actually got these EMF protectors on them. They sell EMF protector stickers, but you have to test them. I done found one that really worked. I tested it with my meter. It don't give off no frequency. When I take it off in their own, it reads like 181. But once I put the sticker on, it goes down to 3. So that's a major difference. So you have EMF stickers you can stick on these devices. Do you got? Yeah. Now B got one on his phone. Let me see yours. Let me see yours. Show it to the camera. So here go one right here. If you look, this is an EMF sticker on the back of the phone. We tested them. So when the phone ring without it on, it would shoot the meter up. I got the meter off of Amazon. It was $399, but a good meter. But the moment you put the sticker on and call it, the meter go down to about 6. It's still reading, but it's not reading 300 or it's not reading 192. So you can put these on your headphones. You can put these on your phones. I got several of them on my laptop, and then I never keep this stuff on my persons at all. So yeah, get you some of those stickers, or I can send you some. I got a ton of them.
Absolutely, man. We thank you for your work. Again, you are necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, Yahki Awakened.
Yahki Awaken. Hey, if y'all want to holler at me too, www.yahkiawaken.com. YAHKIAWAKENED.com. Y'all can follow me at Yahki Raphael on Instagram, Yahki Raphael on Facebook. And just make sure that y'all link up with the verified blue checks. There's a lot of people out here pretending to be me, and I do not do any business on social media. If it's not through my website, I don't do it.
No more talk.
Let's do it.